37% quit. And how's that affect the rest of us? Hey,
Mm.
this is Carl White, and you are listening to Loan Officer Freedom, number one podcast in the world today. And I'm broadcasting here in the communications room of the Mortgage Marketing Animals. And I'm joined by I was going to say partner in crime. There's no crime here.
No
There's no
crime
crime
happening
here.
here.
I'm trying to make
No,
myself sound like a bad guy,
like you're a
kind of thing. Like,
superhero.
yeah, yeah,
You
there's
are
no
you're
crime
a
here.
mortgage superhero. That's for sure.
This is a mortgage superhero. Yeah. So anyway, my fellow mortgage superhero, Mr. Steve Kiles himself, coming out of Houston, Texas. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm great. What a great topic. We were talking about this earlier. 37% quit. How does it affect me? Wow.
So, you know, first of all, so 37% of all loan officers, as of this recording that we're doing it, did
Yeah.
not renew their license. And
Wow.
and it's coming up on the wire, right? It's time to renew.
But
So
just a handful
so
of days left. Yep.
yeah. So first of all, why do you think they quit?
Hmm.
When they see here's my question, and this is a real question. This is going to sound a little snarky, and I don't mean it that way. I love people, and yeah. So this is going to sound snarky, and it's not. It's a real question. I look to see Nate Carver,
Hmm.
and I see Nate Carver, um, like, and we just did an episode that was just released not too long ago, so you can go back and listen to that episode. But you see Nate Carver, and these are off the top of my head. If I remember right, like in October he closed 7. I think November it was like 8 or something
Yeah.
like that, and
Yeah.
then the December I think was 10 or something like that. But anyway, steadily going up
Hmm.
after going through months of goose egg, right? Tough market. He
Yep.
started doing the right activities,
That's right.
did it consistently, did it with passion, did it
Mm.
brilliantly, I must say. And so here he is closing 10 loans a month of December. And let's say that's an average of $3,000 per loan, just
Yep.
a hypothetical number. That's 30 grand. So I just see this cat. And Nate, I mean, he's like the nicest guy ever. But if you meet him, like, he's Nate, right? It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not
He's a
like, and I say
beekeeper.
the same
Loves
thing about
people.
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
I say the same thing about me. Steve, you and I, we do
Just ordinary
very, very
guys.
well.
Yeah.
I'm not Anthony Robbins,
Yeah.
right? I'm not, you know, I'm just me. You're just
Yeah.
you. Nate's just like he's just the dude that lives on the other side of the fence from you. Like it's just a
Hmm.
guy, right? It's nothing.
Yeah.
So here you see this guy, and he's banking 30 grand for the month, and 37% said, no, I'm going to tap out.
Mm.
Why do you think they like? Real question, and I'm
Hey,
not
and,
trying to be
and
mean
let me
here.
throw this in there too. A year and 3 months ago, he was 100% refi shop and hadn't even done a purchase loan. So you're
Mm.
talking within almost 2 years, it flipped completely into purchase. And we were talking a couple weeks ago, it's his best financial month he's ever had. Why do people quit? I think there's a couple of reasons. I think number one, the business, like for the experienced people, Carl, I think the business didn't come the way it used to come. And let me explain that. Here the last couple of years when 2021, 2022, Carl, what happened was we were doing the wrong activity, but all this business was coming in. We were doing chasing conditions and doing admin and doing busy work. We weren't selling and we're having record months. So we thought, wow, if I just keep doing the processing and the contract to close and chase conditions and help them get it to closing, I'll get more loans. And then when the market really shifted to a work year, you realize, oh my gosh, that didn't bring in the business. I got to go
Right.
sell. And so I think part of it is not recognizing it's not anybody's fault, but not recognizing those B activities didn't bring in the business. It's A activity and not pivoting fast enough. Number two, I think the other thing is, I think some people got caught with too high expenses. The expenses were too high and we didn't cut fast enough. And I think all of us experienced that. You get too heavy in staff, don't want to let them go. Everybody's not contributing. We're not selling. You asked a question a couple of weeks ago. What's something I learned in the last 12 months? One of the biggest takeaways that I've been really coaching our branch and team, and Nate's a part of that, is that we've got to make more offers if it's the only thing we do. Like before anything, more offers are going to be what's winning in today's environment. Everybody on the team. What do you think caused it?
I think part of it is I think you're dead on. We were reinforced. We were doing, and I'm using air quotes here, wrong
Yeah.
activities,
Yeah.
but because it was fish in a barrel,
Mm.
even though we had, like, we could do anything and we'd get new business,
Yeah.
right? And so would do the paper chasing and the non-marketing stuff,
Hmm.
and we were getting loans, and so that reinforced, hey, you don't have to actually sell to be successful in this business,
Mm.
right? And just like in the car business, if you're giving away cars, you don't have to be a great salesman to give away a car. And when you got rates at 2%, you're giving away money,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's just the way it is. You're giving away money. So I think you're right on that. I think the other part of it is, I think when people see, and we're gonna pick on our buddy Nate here, right? We're
Yeah.
just using it as an example, but picking on
Yeah.
our buddy Nate, that you got somebody that we say, hey, went from, which is the truth, we went from zero, right, to 10 loans this last month, and I think 8 loans the month before, and I think 7 loans the month before. So it's, ramping up. I think they believe it, right? Because they know who you are, they know who I am. So I think they
Yeah.
believe us. We wouldn't,
Yeah.
number one, it's a felony. Like, for us to make stuff up is actually an FTC violation, and is a felony, a prosecutable felony. So number one, it'd be a serious offense. So I think people believe us. They know that it actually happened because it
Yeah.
did. I think it's more of a thing. Well, Nate could pull it off, but I can't.
Mm.
Somehow, I don't have his skill set. I'm not worthy, which I think is a core of it, is the feelings of not being worthy. Because we look at, and dude, I struggle with that.
Yeah.
So again, just using Nate, guy banks 30,000 in a month,
Yeah.
right? That's serious money, right?
Yeah.
That's
That's
like doctor money.
doctor. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's doctor money. That's more than doctor money for most doctors.
Yeah.
And we see people having great success like that. And I remember, like, growing up for me, and obviously I've been around the sun a fair amount of times. 30K wasn't a bad year income. When so in my mind, I've got this thing that above 30,000 is like really good in a month.
Yeah.
It's an unfathomable amount. So I think part of it is we can't picture ourselves making that kind of money. Even though when I meet Nate, I go, dude, he's just a normal guy. When people meet you and me, go, dude, guys, just normal people,
Yeah.
and so I think part of it is they think that it works for everybody else or for some other people,
Mm.
but not me.
Mm.
And that's a hard one to get by. That's a
Well,
hard
and
one
hey, this is a real question because even as you're saying it, it's the limiting belief
for
and
sure.
the worthiness. How does somebody overcome that? What do you, maybe you don't overcome it, but how would you encourage somebody to push through instead of getting stopped on it? It's like part of, and Carl, this, I mean, like part of what I think, because I feel the same way at times. It's like, man, am I good enough? And I think everybody has those conversations, but you know what I've learned from me? I have to know that my goal is worthy of the push. And my calendar drives my activity, not my feelings. And then when I start doing the activities, the feelings tend to follow. But I don't know, like, what would you encourage somebody? How does somebody who says, well, maybe I'm not worthy of it? Or, yeah, I was talking to a loan officer yesterday. She closes 7 a month. She wants to get to 20 a month. And she literally told me, Steve, I have a limiting belief. And I just thought, I came out of that conversation thinking, how do you help somebody with a limiting belief?
So I'll just share with you my personal experience, right? And this is
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah,
personal stuff, but
yeah,
I think it's important. So for me, it was, first thing is, I started hanging out, like, I hung out with the winners,
mm, yeah,
so I hung out with the winners. And the one thing I found out while hanging out with the winners is, and some of these cats were Anthony Robbins.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, for sure.
they
Yeah,
walked on water, right? Them and Jesus walked on water, right? And they had special skills, and they were just so charismatic and
yeah,
just
yeah,
remarkable human beings, right? Some of them
yeah,
were. That was a small percentage and I'm talking about, of these very, very, very successful people. It was a very small percentage that were what I would classify as, oh my God, remarkable,
yeah,
right? The rest of them, they're just normal people. Like one of my, and this is no secret, one of my favorite people on earth is Oprah,
Yeah.
right? I absolutely adore that lady.
Yeah.
And you know what? Probably admire is a better word. Like I really admire. Here you had just a normal person, right? And I'm not being mean or anything, but it's not like she was the best looking dude or a beautiful lady, and she is beautiful. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like she's just normal, like
Yeah.
just normal, like somebody that lives in my neighborhood, you
Hmm.
know, and yet and taking her what I would say normalcy and creating truly an empire,
Yeah.
right? And so I saw people of greatness that were normal, and some of these people I've actually met. She's on
Yeah.
my list. I haven't met with her yet, but
Yeah.
I've met with some very remarkable people that many people do know, and they're just normal people. And I,
Mm.
I think that was part of it. I think the other part was that the people I surrounded myself with, I'm very careful. People think that I have you know, 10,000 friends. I don't. I have a
Yeah.
very small actual circle of friends because I guard my true friendships,
Mm.
like I'm guarding Fort Knox because I am guarding Fort Knox. And that my true friends, like they believe in me.
Hmm.
But here's the kicker, Steve. Even before I believed in myself,
Yeah. Mm.
so like the lovely Mrs. White,
Yeah.
just constantly feeding into me. Carl, you're amazing. Carl,
Mm.
and I'm not saying this to be braggadocious. I'm just saying I didn't
Sure.
say this. This is what she said to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And hanging out with Diane and Tammy,
Yeah.
people on our team,
Yeah.
all through the years, Carl, you have a special gift, Carl, and I don't see it, but I believe them,
Mm.
right? So I trust them. So even though I look at myself,
Mm.
what are you talking about? They believed in me before I believed in myself. I think that was part of it. And I tell you, another part of it for me is a spiritual nature,
Mm.
and that, and this is just my belief system, which I certainly don't hide. That in my belief system, God has told me that I'm worthy.
Yeah.
And so I'm worthy of great things. I'm worthy of his love. I'm worthy of success.
Mm.
And he's entrusted me with a set of talents. Now I've got to use that set of talents, in honor, right? And in my belief system, it's like if he's given you a gift, it's your moral obligation to exercise and use that gift,
Yeah.
or you'll lose it. You'll take and I don't know where I got this idea from, but I thought if he gives me a gift and I don't use it, he'll take it away and give it to somebody else that will,
Mm.
right? And so for me, it's like if the entity that created the universe as we know it believes in me,
Mm.
how how can I deny that?
Yeah.
And so that's got a little bit of a backward approach, and maybe it's a little TMI here, but I think hang out with positive people,
Yep.
hang out with people that believe in you. People that don't believe in you,
Get
get
rid
them
of.
out of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not talking about a husband or a wife or those, obviously those need a little bit more work and they're worthy of a little bit more work.
Sure.
But like even like
Negative Nancy's I
and
mean,
even
figuratively saying
brothers and
just the people with the
sisters,
negatives. Yeah.
yeah, or
Yeah. Got to
moms,
get
even
rid of
moms
that.
or dads sometimes, sad but
Yeah.
true, right? Sad but true.
Yeah.
But yeah, just yeah, surround yourself with positive
Mm.
people, and negative people, get them out of your life. And if somebody's throwing rocks at you, just shut the doors, shut the windows, and don't let them in.
Yeah.
Like block them, like on social media, block them, block
Yeah.
the phone number, like literally, so let's go back to our original topic here just real quick.
Yeah.
So 37% quit.
Yep.
And you know what? Let me say something else too. It's okay.
Hmm.
Like it's okay. Cause like I was thinking about that and I thought, I've quit things in the past. So I was once a prison guard for the Florida State Penitentiary. I've shared that with you. I quit. It
Yeah.
wasn't for me,
Yep.
right? It's a great job. God knows we need prison guards, right? So I honor those people. I tapped out. It wasn't for me, right? It doesn't mean I'm bad, it's bad. We just weren't a good match, and that's okay. When I was a kid, I was in the Air Force. I did my time. I quit, right? And I found out I'm not a great mechanic. So I was a mechanic on airplanes, and God
Yep.
knows they need great mechanics.
Yep.
And come to find out, me and a screwdriver it's not my gift. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean I'm stupid. It doesn't mean I'm lazy. It just wasn't for me,
Yeah.
right? And so I've had other things. I used to wash eggs for a living. I quit
Mhm.
that,
Yeah.
right? I did it for a while and just had enough of it. So there's nothing wrong with deciding, hey, this might not be for me. That's okay. Go find what you're gifted in. However, if you're quitting because I don't like this, I don't like the activities,
Mm.
find something else, and that's okay, right? No harm, no foul. But if you're quitting because I can't get the business, I don't know what to do, uh, we can help you with that.
Mhm.
So if you're listening to this today, if you go to uh, freedomclubdemo.com,
Mm.
freedomclubdemo.com, we will map you out a day by day exact plan of exactly what to do, who to do it with, what to say, who to say it with, and any kind of objections and rebuttals that you might need. There's no
Yeah.
charge for this. Freedomclubdemo.com. Hey, just one more thing, just real quick on that. So, how does that affect, which this is our original subject,
How's it
how does
affect me? Yeah.
37% quitting affect the other 63? So, I think my first thought was, I don't think it'll affect us because they weren't doing anything anyway. But that's not true,
Mm.
right? That's not true. There was probably a fair amount of them were doing onesies and twosies, right?
Yep. Yep.
For whatever reason, right? It wasn't for them. They didn't have the right strategy. They didn't have the right techniques. They didn't know what to say. They were using the wrong strategies. Somebody sold them some magic beans that promised them a beanstalk would grow, and come to find out there are no magic beans. You actually have to work. You have to do sales activity to be a successful salesperson, right? And so that 37% was probably doing a fair amount of onesies and twosies.
Mhm.
And now that they are not there, not that I'm glad they're gone, because I'm not, right? I grieve for them, but then they're going to find that thing that does fill their tank, and maybe it's I don't know, becoming a paramedic and saving a life someday, right? Like whatever that thing is. Um, but now those onesies and twosies, we can now, as you're listening to this, we put those in your basket.
Mhm.
And and let's say you make $3,000 per closing. Again, every $3,000 helps. And yeah, I think the less people feeding out of the trough, well, the more everybody else gets. And again, I'm not glad those people left. I'm not, but I'm glad I'm glad there's either found or something that does match them better. So it's just real important that we don't throw rocks at the 37. And I know you and I wouldn't, Steve, but I
Yeah.
think it's real important not to throw rocks at 37%. There's nothing wrong with them. This
Yeah.
just wasn't for them, and that's okay. Hell,
Mhm.
if everybody was perfect for this job, would have in this country, we'd have 300 million loan officers. Like, so everybody, my my assistant just took my Jeep to the Jeep shop today to have some work done on it. Thank God there's somebody at the Jeep shop that decided he didn't want to be a loan officer. He wanted to be a mechanic,
Yep.
and we need those people. So
Yeah.
anyway, but do you have any other thoughts on this?
Hey,
Yeah, Jim.
so my thoughts on that. So, man, I just think when you see a mass exodus, you've really got to take a self evaluation or evaluate where you're currently at and then decide, hey, guess what? It gives me more opportunity. I'm here. I've got a purpose. I got a why. And then look, if you've been like you're listening today and you say, hey, I've been one that's considered stepping out of the business, I think, it's not your fault. Carl, we talk about it all the time. But here's what we do know is we've got a plan that's currently helping loan officers. I know in our membership and our coaching program, we've seen in the last 5 months, members have increased 22.9% on average. And I just think that when you see a shifting, it also provides a remarkable opportunity for those who will get in, refocus, uh, do the right activity that we know produces the right results. And I think this year can be your best year ever. So I actually look at it as an exciting opportunity because you do get to gain more market share. It becomes something that's more energizing instead of deflating. So I think it's a great
And you know,
opportunity.
one thing I think is important is find out what they were doing. Again, we're not
Yeah,
making judgment of them as a people, but
yeah,
maybe their activities we're taking
yeah,
a look at, right? So look at the activities they were doing and don't do
hmm,
that,
yeah, for sure.
right? Like whatever that was, don't do that. And yeah, I
Yeah,
think
don't do
so.
that.
Yeah, don't do that. So I think the as we're entering here into 2024, we're already seeing a shift in the market. Like we're
Yep.
seeing rates as we're recording this day anyway. Rates have definitely kind of broke down, gone down a little bit. So
Yes.
it's kind of broken that trend of going up and up and up and up that we're seeing a down. There's going to be it's like look the housing industry is like a river. It's always
Mm,
flowing.
that's
And
it.
anytime you dam it up, which it's been dammed up, right?
Hmm.
It's been dammed up the last year or maybe two.
That's a
But
great
anytime you dam it
analogy.
up,
Yeah.
that soon as the rates drop a little bit, then you will see this because it's that pent up demand is 100% there.
Yes.
And just like coming out of '08 was some of our best years ever. When that broke, that took a little longer to break, but when that finally broke,
Ooh.
we had some of our best years ever. I think the same thing at this time. So here's what I would do: is spend your time now sharpening your sword, learning techniques, learning strategies, getting
Yep.
your CRM set up,
Yep.
getting your scripts, setting up your calendar, practicing these sales activities. Right now is the time to do that. Once it starts breaking, like once it starts really picking up again, it's too late.
Yeah. Oh,
Like you're
yeah.
not going to have time then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
actually, these down times, this is a perfect time. I think of it like a boxing ring. You're in the corner,
Yep.
drink some water, catch your breath, put a little ice on, and study your craft, and come out of the corner ready for the next round. So this is corner time right now. It's critical. The winners, they spend times like this sharpening their sword. I hate saying sharpening a sword. That seems like a negative thing, but honing their craft. Let me say
That's
it that
right.
way.
Getting
So
better.
honing their craft. So good stuff. You
I
think we
love it.
covered this okay?
I think we did, man. Great episode.
All right. So again, that's freedomclubdemo.com, freedomclubdemo.com. Wouldn't it be a good idea to see what you might be missing out on? At least take a peek
Mm.
inside. So would love to do that for you. So my name is Carl White,
All right. Steve Kyles.
and we'll talk to you when you call in, and we'll see you on the next episode of Loan Officer Freedom. Thanks again, everybody. One last thing, forward this to 3 of your favorite loan officer friends. They'll thank you for it, and we will too. And we'll talk to you on the inside.
See you.